Hi, and welcome to a short webinar from Herbst Biomedical to talk about the new telescopic Herbst hardware from Great Lakes Orthodontics. So to talk about the background, first of all, the Herbst mechanism is manufactured in Germany by Scheu Dental, and the exclusive distributor for the US is Great Lakes Orthodontics. Scheu and Great Lakes have recently made the decision to discontinue the classic Herbst style arm that people are used to in favor of adding a locking nut into the arm to prevent the jaw from falling back as the patient is wearing the device. So this decision has been made recently, and just to touch on the original design, so the design that most people will be familiar with is the standard arm with the telescopic adjustment mechanism and the adjustment screw inside of that arm. So this is the traditional one. However, Scheu and Great Lakes have gained feedback that the device or the screw itself was actually turning on its own as the patients were wearing it, so it wasn't holding the patients in an anterior position. So the new design has two locking nuts, whereas the original only had one. So we've numbered them number 1 and number 2 here. Number 2 is the advancement bolt. So you can use this as you traditionally would to advance the jaw. 16 turns equals 1 millimeter. So you advance the advance bolt number 2, and then number 1 is the locking bolt. So the locking bolt is what is going to prevent the screw from turning on its own and the jaw from retruding by itself as the patient is wearing the device. One point to notice on this, in past, if we just go back to the last screen, the millimeter markers were lined up with the bolt, so the dentist could see how far that they've advanced the jaw as they're turning the screw. In the new system, the millimeter markers are lined up with bolt number 2. So as you adjust, you line that bolt up with the millimeter markers so you can gauge how far the device has been advanced. So you'll see on the lower left of the screen that there's an image there just to kind of indicate where the millimeter markers are. So this is kind of the 3-step process. So of course this is an exaggeration too, but bolt number 2 here is advanced to the desired position. In the second image, the locking nut has been tightened against the advancement bolt. And then to actually lock the position together, you place 2 keys in and turn them in the opposite directions to each other, and that essentially presses them against each other and locks the screw so it can't turn on its own. So you'll see bolt number 2 is going to be turned towards the negative sign. Bolt number 1 is going to be turned towards the positive sign. So this can lock the screw into the desired position. Here's a short video on how that's done. So you'll see bolt number 2 is being adjusted 3 turns on this case. Then bolt number 1 is adjusted the same amount of turns, so 3 turns, and then you use 2 screws and turn the bolts against each other, and this locks the screw in position, and it is quite a tight seal, so we haven't been able to manually kind of free that up and take it apart. So just to go through it one more time, advance bolt number 2 as you normally would. Bolt number 1, you advance the same number of turns until it meets up with bolt number 2. Once it gets there, place 2 keys in and turn bolt number 2 towards the negative and bolt number 1 towards the positive, and that's really going to lock them together. And that's it really. Here are my contact info details in case anybody has any questions and like to go over this in more detail, maybe some of the reasonings behind this. More than happy to discuss that and pass the feedback on to Great Lakes and to Scheu. Just a small reminder, we'll be at the AADSM in Denver coming up in a few weeks, and also at Sleep 2016, which follows this meeting. So thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. Thanks. Bye.